Here you can see our full set of chess pieces. We're going to discuss how we got to this stage, including our design process and the most notable difficulties we encountered. Initially, to create our chess set, we attempted to pre-plan the dimensions, but because the pieces have so many arcs rather than straight lines, this turned into a cumbersome process and made it hard to get the proportions right. Our second approach was to get a clear image of the chess pieces and use this as a reference outline for designing the shapes. We both put this image in the background of our CAD file, as you can see, and scaled it to the same size. This way our pieces printed in proportion to each other and looked like a cohesive set.
We revolved shapes that were symmetrical around an axis, particularly the bodies of the pieces. On the other hand, the extrude tool was useful for shapes without any particular symmetry, and it allowed us to make the tops of many of the pieces, including the knight, king, and queen. The bodies for many of the pieces could technically be created through both extruding and revolving, but we found revolving more convenient, as extruding would require many edits to create the curves of the shapes.
In printing, we oriented our shapes with the bottom of each piece flat on the surface as shown. This format required minimal supports as the side of the pieces were concave and would all require supports if printed sideways. Our prints were successful each time, so we assume our chosen orientation was the most ideal. In addition, some parts required supports, such as around the sides of the rook and under the chin of the knight, as they had segments that stuck out while filament was being added to print the final design.
In the end, our chess pieces turned out nicely, although some of the hearts that were carved turned out to look more like triangles as they were too small for the printer to differentiate in printing, which was something we should have been more careful about. There were also multiple artisan defects, such as on the cross on the king where the filament seemed to clump up on one side, and along the smooth sides of some of our designs where the filament sticks out to where it is visible by the naked eye. If the pieces were to be printed again, they would most likely be different, as it is not probable that these little defects would replicate themselves again entirely. Overall, though, our chess pieces turned out pleasantly.